One day, Duke's father, Mr. Fook, discovered that Diep was actually his biological daughter who had gone missing 25 years ago. Ironically, Diep was deeply in love with CEO James, the son of a family that was once an old friend of Mr. Fook's but had since become his sworn enemy. Diep was both shocked and overjoyed when she and her father finally reunited, learning the truth about her origins. However, she had no idea what her brother, Duke, was doing with CEO James, nor was she aware of the past conflicts between their families. Later, whenever CEO James mentioned Diep, she became even more anxious and heartbroken. She had only just embraced her long-lost father and brother, yet turmoil was already threatening to tear them apart. Diep and CEO James's love blossomed quickly, but what they never expected was the deep-seated hatred between their families. Duke's father, Mr. Fook, and CEO James's father, Mr. Hoang, were once business partners, until they became sworn enemies. A failed deal led to a series of misunderstandings, disputes, and, ultimately, a grudge that lasted 2 decades. Since then, the two families had refused to see eye to eye, treating each other as mortal foes. When Diep and CEO James's relationship was discovered, both families reacted fiercely. One evening, as Diep returned home, she found her father waiting for her in the living room, his expression stern. "Do you even know what you're doing, Diep?" Mr. Fook's voice was cold. "You're involved with the son of the man who destroyed our family. Do you even realize that?" Diep bit her lip, trying to stay calm. "I know, but Dad, what happened between our families has nothing to do with my feelings for CEO James. He hasn't done anything wrong." "Nothing wrong?" Mr. Fook slammed his hand on the table. "Do you even know that because of his family, we lost everything? Do you know how his father betrayed me? There's no way I'll ever let you love that man." Diep looked directly into her father's eyes, her voice trembling with frustration. "That was your generation's conflict, Dad. Why should we be burdened by your hatred? I love CEO James, and he loves me. We can't just break up because of a past that isn't our fault." But no matter what she said, Mr. Fook remained firm. He forbade her from seeing CEO James and even threatened to send her abroad to separate them. At the same time, CEO James was also facing his family's opposition. When his mother, Mrs. Lan, found out, she immediately called him home. In the living room, Mr. Hoang was already waiting, his face full of anger. "CEO James, do you even realize what you're doing?" Mr. Hoang asked bluntly. "You dare to be with the daughter of the man who betrayed me? That family ruined us, and now you're in love with his daughter." CEO James clenched his fists, struggling to remain composed. "Dad, your feud with Mr. Fook is one thing. I love Diep for who she is, not for her family or their past. Why do you insist on dragging us into this old hatred?" "You don't understand, James." Mrs. Lan spoke up, her voice filled with concern. "Do you really think she truly loves you? Her family will never accept you. Don't be naive. Listen to us, let this go." But CEO James refused to give up. He knew that his love with Diep was not something easily found. They began meeting in secret, each time filled with worry and anticipation. They met at the market, in a small cafe downtown, anywhere they could avoid their family's watchful eyes. One evening, CEO James met Diep in a narrow alley behind the neighborhood. The air was chilly, but they felt warm just being together. "What are we going to do, CEO James?" Diep sighed, resting her head on his shoulder. "Our families will never accept us." CEO James held her tightly, his voice filled with determination. I don't care what they think. I only know that I love you, and I will prove that we can be together without their approval. If necessary, I'll build a life of my own, without depending on anyone. But fate would not let them be. One day, as Diep sneaked out to see CEO James, her father caught her. In a fit of rage, Mr. Fuchs slapped her, his eyes filled with both pain and anger. You've disappointed me, Diep. How many times have I warned you? Why are you so stubborn? Diep burst into tears, but this time, she refused to back down. You can forbid me, you can hate CEO James, but you can't force me to stop loving him. I don't want to live your life, Dad, I want to live mine. Meanwhile, CEO James was also being forced to choose between his family and love. But he had already made his decision. If you can't accept Diep, then I'll leave. I'll build my own life with her. I won't abandon this love just because of an old grudge. Both knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they believed in their love. They decided to leave everything behind and move to another city, where the past's hatred couldn't bind them. But was love truly strong enough to overcome it all? Could time heal old wounds and bring their families together? That was a question only time could answer.